Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the first round of the VTC. Messed up my lines already. The first round of the VTCC at Snetterton 200. I hope you're all doing very well. It's good to have you here. It's good to it's good to get this kicked off. A lot of people have been waiting for this championship to commence again. It should be looking good. So a little bit of background quickly for those who aren't familiar. The VTCC was originally set up, I think, sort of middle of 2020. After the global pandemic hit, all of the UK motor racing came to a halt, and a lot of people started to go to sim racing and all the rest of it. So local clubs, motor racing clubs, then begun their own racing leagues, and that's basically where it stemmed from. So middle of 2020 begun the first sort of season, if you will, of the VTCC, which I participated in seasons 1 and 2 for a little bit of background. And then basically the VTCC has grown into the VRCC, Virtual Racing Car Club, and has then put on season 2, and then this is the third season on Project Cars, and then also expanded into Assetto Corsa Racing, Sim Lobbies, Assetto Corsa Competizioni, and set up with a few other organisations as well to bring a bigger spectacle to the event. So fully regulated, fully policed. There are point systems involved. What are they called? Marshal stewarding. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Stewarding for any race incidents after the event as well. And there's a lot at stake for people that that take it seriously. So if you haven't seen it before, welcome. That's sort of a small background of what the VTCC is. And tonight is the first round. So that one. There we are. So, what do we have? We'll go through the calendar quickly, and then we'll talk about the actual individual competitors. So tonight is the 28th, Snetterton 200 for round 1. Then in a week's time, so this is a 6-week event, 6-week championship. In a week's time, there will be round 2 at Zhuhai, China. Round 3 on the 18th at Imola. Actually, so there's a gap. So we've got today, next week. There's a gap until the 18th. And then you're looking at the Imola round 3. And then after that, on 25th, Alton Park International for round 4. And then another gap of a week. And then the final 2 rounds after that, which will be Nürburgring GP on the 9th. And which is one of my favourite races, and then Silverstone on the 16th. If you ever get bored of my perspective or my commentary of the race, we do also have some of the other competitors that do stream their perspectives of the race. And I don't believe this is an exhaustive list of who we have streaming. But you have the likes of Finn Lee Swarbrick, who not only races but is one of the marshals as well. Chris Callahan, Kiki Mack, Jurka Sterber, Ryan Rees, Aaron Large, all on Twitch TV, broadcasting their perspectives. And then for the AM lobby, which is the one that we will be watching today, we have Kev Straw, Monochrome Racing, Trev Hummer on Twitch, Spartan Golf 6_YT, Glenn Price is Nipper_G, Alistair Pollock, Alio GTV, Thorsten Jaeger of Thorst Gaming, and Daniel Collins as Dan_the_Drifter. 10 points if you can guess what he probably races. Thank you. I did just spot that for some reason. I don't know how that came out of there. I can re-record that later. It's fine. Anyway, what I was going to say, qualifying has begun. Just a word before we drop over there. They do all run custom liveries. So these have been created by the drivers or created for them. So this should be very interesting what we have for the season. So without further ado, we have our grid and qualifying has begun. Couple of minutes, no worries. Okay, I'll watch it back and I'm sure I can probably dub what I missed out as the recordings on YouTube after the race for a bit, and then I will be uploading it to my YouTube. So if you haven't already, then you can go and subscribe to that. The race event will be there forevermore on YouTube, but I will fix that little audio slip up. But there we are. So. The scheduling for tonight, you can see the information there as well on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying has begun. That will run for approximately 15 minutes. We have 12 minutes remaining. Then we will have race 1, which will be a 20-minute race. Race 2 is a random grid race, and then we'll have qualifying for race 3, and then race 3 will commence later on tonight. Track limits are on, track limit penalties are on, driver aids not permitted. It's not too bad for me to commit behind. Fair enough. Track penalties are on. We have driver aids not permitted, damage is on, tyre wear is accelerated, and fuel depletion is off. So if we have anyone going into the pits, it's not because of they have run out of fuel. That's not something we have seen that in previous championships. The last VRCC racing that I commented on was the Group A's, which a few people did struggle with actual fuel depletion, fuel management, and we had more on one occasion people not making it to the end of the line, but that's not something we'll see in the TCRs this evening. As with about 11 minutes remaining, we have an early pace setter on qualifying, which is Alice Hughes. As bold as I may say, I think is the only female we have in the series. And then behind them at a 0.8 second gap is Taylor Cooper Motorsport. But let's see, who do we have? He's going on a go slow, so I think he's moving up the way for that the competitors behind him. So called that quits for the moment. Teammates there, as you can see. I think one ghosting, I think, to avoid collision. So we have the very striking livery again. So just focusing on the screen now, what the actual liveries look like. So 404, we have Trev Hummer in a very striking kind of teal and red, very red livery, very good looking livery, I have to say. I'm not sure, where is that 70, not sure where that was. 171, that's what I said. Go OG Racing with the Sneak sponsorship on the side of the car, very striking car as well. So some good looking liveries. Will Breen is currently in the stock livery at the moment, as he hasn't had one set up, currently sitting in 5th. On the grid, taking up the 3rd row of the grid. We have behind him someone known as the Equalizer. Car number 11, who is that? That is Paul Hargreaves. Currently in the 3rd row as well, similar with the Sneak livery. So Alice Hughes currently still setting an early pace, just coming back into the pits. They are locked setups as well for this season, so they only have roughly 2 to choose from. The default for the game, which is either a soft setup, soft suspension setup, No, sorry, it's stiff and it's loose. It's described as stiff and loose, so like a medium sort of suspension setup and then a soft as well. We have one car stationary there, who I think that would have, yes, that was Adam Bent just on the edge. Of the Montreal. Just bringing himself back to the pits. But yeah, putting in a very, very good lap and like tying the times with Trev Hummer. They've both been putting in the work, and they are on exactly to the millisecond the exact same time. So very, very good, there. Would we have Ted of Cooper Motorsport? I believe that will be what is the car number? We have an early spinner coming out of Murray's. It's a little bit of chaos at Murray's, a little bit. Some people bumping it. You see how big those inner sausage curves are no, sorry, it wasn't Murray's, it was Nelson. At Nelson. So after the bent straight, sharp right-hander, and then you're turning 2 corners actually on the Snetterton 200, the 2 mile long course. You're actually turning as you're braking, which is really not what you want to be doing. You want to be in a straight line, applying full brake pressure to get the car slowed down as quickly as possible and as late as possible. But coming through Karam into Murray's, the car's turning as you're trying to do it, so you're either gonna understeer and spear off in the wrong direction, or it's a balancing act anyway to try and get it around those 2 corners at Nelson and Murray. So some people are struggling initially, but I'm sure by the end of the session they will be properly warmed up and getting through it. Let's put Brian Zimmerman there, he's got a striking livery. Someone in the Astra, so quite a mix of cars. There's a few different chassis that they can pick from. So the majority of the grid tend to go for the Renault, as Brian Zimmerman has, as it is a more forgiving car, front-wheel drive, short chassis, not too good on the straights, but very capable around the corners. I say not too good on the straights. It can be beaten on the straights essentially by the BMW, which I think most of the grid will be in the Renault. But there we are. We have Nipper G in car number 28, and that is Glenn Price, who has opted for the Opel. Currently getting held up on his lap by coming through Murray's, and does take to the pits, I think, to repair any damage for a better run. In his next lap. So let's see. Hummer and who's that? So there's been a little bit of it. So Adam Bent actually dropped down to 4th now. That's Hughes, very well done, keeping hold of that pole position. So Trev Hummer has brought himself up to 2nd in the grid. Andrew Whitehead, I believe. No, sorry, Ted Cooper. Beg your pardon. Yeah, Ted Cooper currently sitting on the 3rd row. There's a green car that's kind of gone a little bit skew-iff there. Not too sure what it was. It's going to take a little bit of time just to bring myself up to speed how many people there are and what cars there will be. So let's look back down on the other end of the grid. Alistair Pollock down in 18th position. With a little bit of barrel scarred as well, so he's looks like he's been holding a few people up. Hopefully he can get back onto pace. I think we shall see good results from him. I think he's well practiced in various other games, Twitch streamer as well. So let's see if he can really put it together to put in some good times. Emmanuel Chia sliding that through. That's carrying a lot of speed through Brundle into Nelson. Get it around. I thought that wasn't going to end too well for him, but he got it round certainly. One of the new drivers for the AM lobby. So I think new drivers, depending on their actual pace, will most likely go in the AM lobby. The pro lobby being packed, as it were, with the full amount of drivers signed up for that lobby. All of the drivers have had evaluation races prior to the season, so the skill has been assessed over a couple of races, and they have been given a place in either the pro or AM lobbies. Not that the AMs aren't fast, and not that the pros aren't, slow or anything, but yeah, some of them, with the amount of people we have signed up for the season, it is just easier to grade them that way, just to split them apart. So Manuel is one of the newer drivers for the season, so we'll see what he can do. We don't have too much information on his performance. Who do we have? Dan the Drifter down in 15th for car number 69, Daniel Collins. But so they're roughly running 1 minute 12. Alice Hughes still really holding on to that by a fair bit now as well. No one getting. Ted's trying to get as close as he can to that time. Still half a second off, which is a very, very small gap. 2 minutes. Can't see that that's not going to be his quickest, maybe. But no, that's wheels smoking as he tries to get it slowed down. A couple of people in the pits. Who's currently in 10th place on the grid? We have Rosen in there, who is, let's have a look, car number 5, that is Ross King. Currently in 10th on the grid, car number 5 in Force End. So just picking cars around at the moment. Nipper G and Glenn Price is currently in the pits at the moment, I believe. Could be wrong on that. Thorsten Jaeger and another green and yellow liveried car currently in the pits as well. There's people having a little bit of an off. Adam Bent, that's not going to be the quickest way round. He will get another crack at a flying lap. That's going to be his last attempt, as we are looking at the final minute of qualifying. So who's currently going? Alice Hughes is on a lap, but unless Ted's ahead of her, but he's got one more lap to try and clinch that pole position. Can he do it? Can he get that done? Can you just follow him on the final lap as they all finish? 30 seconds of qualifying, 1 remaining. Finds him in the pits. A few people have called it quits, but let's see. Alice Hughes is behind Ted, interestingly, so she's going to get a bit of a tow. So maybe that will prevent him really getting that pole position. We shall see as they come through. Nelson down to the bomb hole. Ted's run wide. That might cost him many runs on the grass. He's called that quits. He has called that lap quit. So Alice Hughes will be your pole sitter for race 1. The early pace set at the moment. I think she will finish this lap. No, she doesn't. She knows she's done enough, and yeah, she doesn't. Who's that? Is Adam Ben come across the line? He is. He's in 5th. Does he improve upon his time? He doesn't. No, he stays in 5th. He stays in 5th. I think that's a slight glitch from Alice's car. Don't look. Get a headache. So I think everyone. I don't think anyone is still on a lap now, are they? Now that is the qualifying session Done and dusted. So, Alice Hughes sits on pole with Ted Cooper lining up on row 1, Trev Hummer and the equaliser, which is Paul Hargreaves, lining up on row 2. Adam Bent and Will Bream on row 3, Brian Zimmerman lining up, and we're a little bit too slow for that, but there we are. We have loaded up into the race. So we have, I think, approximately a minute, so maybe slightly less than 15 minutes of race for everyone to complete. But yes, Alice Hughes lines up next to Mr. Cooper. Then we have Hummer and Hargreaves on row 2. Row 3 is Adam Bent and Will Bream. Row 4 is Brian Zimmerman and Kev Straw. Row 5 is Ross King and Stefan there. Tobias Eriksson and Nipper G, which is... Yes, I've read that wrong. There we are. Which is Glenn Price. Thorsten Jaeger next to him, the teammate. And then Mark Holmes in 15th, and the Drifter in 15th, sorry. Keaton Gareja, Manuel Chow, and Asda Pollock. So we are just about to get underway. Race number 1, Alice Hughes on poles. They get ready, the engines rise, the lights go out, and they are away. Good start from Alice. They are currently 3 wide, heading into turn 1. There's bumping, grinding. Alice Hughes has lost out first to Ted. People are going wide at the first turn. Can everyone get through cleanly? Looks like everyone has done. There's been a bit of a shunt. Everyone's getting through. There's a huge cast 2 wheels over the sausage curbs. That is Mark Holmes running wide on the outside of Montreal. But looks like everyone's got through incredibly cleanly. Well done to everyone for that. But Ted Cooper is currently trying to eke out a gap over everyone. Can they all get through? They find their braking points. Looks like people getting into turns. Anticipating something, but no, again, everyone's got through that incredibly cleanly. And Ted Cooper has run away with the lead at the moment from the start, so got a better start than Alice. Can he hold on to it? He's certainly trying. They've got to tyre wear his accelerators. They've got to watch out for what they can do. So currently leading Ted Cooper in first, Alice Hughes in second. Trev Hummer, a fantastic start from him, currently holding on to third. So they've all spaced out a fair bit. What do we have? Tobias Eriksson down in 12th. Thorsten Jaeger down in 14th. So there's a few little battles. Who are we looking at? We are looking at car number 69. So doing very well. Alice Hughes currently pressuring Ted. She has collected herself and is on the back of that bumper now. Can she make a manoeuvre? As following the Renault in front of a French car versus French car. They come round the bomb hole into Murray's, find the braking point. Looks like Alice Hughes was slightly later on the brakes, had to dive out the way of hitting the back of Cooper. She's lost out a bit of speed, so she's not going to be able to make a manoeuvre, but they're both very evenly matched, it would seem, so she will try and get onto the back of that car as soon as she can. She's looking down the inside of Montreal. She's late on the brakes, comes off the inside, dives down, runs over the sausage curb, tries to get the job done, can't quite do it, but a very, very brave move. And now Trev Hummer's trying to get onto the battle. Moved out of slipstream, I think, just a tad too early from Alex. Alice, sorry. He's looking down the inside. Alice going to have to watch out for a dive there, but he dips back onto the racing line. They all find their braking points and make it through. And Alice has got a fantastic exit past Cooper, and Trev Hummer follows her through. And now Trev finds himself down in third position from the 3-car battle. Fantastic move from Alice. She saw the opportunity and really stole that first position away. Now she's got a clear track ahead of him. Hopefully, let's see if she can get away from Trev. Ted is trying to recover that position. Let's see if we can have a quick look further down the order. There's different battles happening all throughout the grid. But we have Alice Hughes leading Trev Hummer, leading Ted Cooper. Who is close enough to who? Can they make a dive into Brundle? They cannot. Trev really trying to... has Ted carried too much speed? He's going to come back on the track inside of the curb, and doesn't make contact with anyone, which was it didn't look like he was going to end up running into the side of Trev, but no, he keeps on the track. But he's lost a bit of speed now from the 2-car battle for the lead. 10 minutes remaining of race 1. Currently on about to begin lap 5. They've spaced out a little bit. Let's see. We've got things happening all across the race. A few people have had warnings as people contact the first. Car number 12 is the only person to actually pick up a 2-second penalty. So yeah, looking down the order, who's actually battling for position? We have Stefan in the Renault in car number 32, I believe. He is indeed. Trying to defend from Ross King, who looks like he's trying to get an outside manoeuvre. He's in the Mercedes, one of the only Mercedes drivers. They can see Nipper G or Glenn Price being the only one to actually pick up 2-second penalty for the moment. What's happened there's been all change at the front actually. So Alice Hughes has made a mistake, and she has been passed by both Ted and Trev actually. So whether that was contact with Trev or whether that was her own volition, not too sure about that. But yeah, Alice Hughes now finds herself down in third, and Trev Hummer is now the third leader of the race on lap 6. But he's not able to quite get away, and Ted is trying to drive that, trying to reduce that gap as much as possible. Will Bream and the equaliser, who I didn't see, I need to get used to who that was. Car number 11, that is Paul Hargreaves, currently battling for 4th. Trev Hummer defending his line, moving offline, which is a bit uncharacteristic to do round Karam. Finding the braking zone, that was a lot of speed. He gets it turned. Cooper's run wide as well. Is Alice going to be able to get up the inside line? She carries a lot of speed, but can't quite get it done. Cooper's trying to defend. He's got a warning. He has had to slow down. He has had a slowdown warning from the marshals. And he's actually going to lose out to Adam Bent as well. Does it look like Adam Bent is really trying to get the inside line? But no, he just... Ted really just holds on to that. So, yeah, he's lost out a massive amount of speed, and that could call it quits for the lead battle. Halfway through the race, we have Trev Hummer and Alice Hughes now resuming their lead battle for first place in the race. So all Trev has to do is really just keep it tidy. Runs a little bit wide on the exit of Nelson. We have someone else that has picked up a penalty, a 1 second penalty for Tobias Eriksson, somewhere around the circuit. It's the last corner of the circuit. Adam Bent is trying to challenge Ted Cooper for... I keep saying Ted Cooper, I'm not sure it's Ted Cooper. It is Ted Cooper. Trying to challenge Ted Cooper for the lead. Ted's having to defend. Adam Bent's looking on the inside line, the first corner. That's a very dangerous place to do it. Can he get through? Ted sees him, cuts him off. So Adam Bent really had to brake there. He wasn't sure he was going to make that position. Trev Hummer has picked up a penalty. How much has he picked up? Trev Hummer has picked up a 2 second penalty on the circuit. Not too sure where that must have been on the last corner, I think. At Murray's. It takes a little bit of time for it to kick in. And you can see he made a little bit of over a second over Alice on that last lap. But as long as Alice can stick within a 2 second gap, she will be handed that top spot. So Ted in third place has sawn off the attack from Adam Bent in fourth. And now Adam Bent is equally under pressure from Paul Hargreaves. Interesting, the gap's getting a little bit bigger between Alice Hughes and Trev Hummer. So it's over 2 seconds now. So if Trev Hummer can maintain that to the end of the race, he will still hold on to that top spot. Let's see how that plays out for the rest of the race. Brian Zimmerman has got up into 11th place, but is under pressure from Nipper G. That is Glenn Price. They all find their braking points for the hairpin and get round very, very well. The battle for third place hotting up between four drivers. We have Ted Cooper, we have Adam Bent, we have Paul Hargreaves, and we have Will Bream in the running for that position. Behind them, sort of running his own race at the minute in the Mercedes chassis, is Ross King. Daniel Collins down in 8th position, just running wide. He's going to be careful not to be under pressure from Stefan Andrea behind him. Running, no one can quite get the advantage over each other through this pack, essentially, for third place rather. So I don't think Trev Hummer hasn't picked up any more penalties. There's been contact between Adam Bent and I think that was who was that behind him? That was Paul Hargreaves, I think. They just rubbed, and that the back end of Adam Bent's car really didn't want to follow the front. So he ended up cutting the corner. Whether that will hand him a penalty for that, possibly that could get challenged, but I'm not too sure. Massive sausage there curve, sending Adam Bent's near side car skyward. He's lost out a lot of time after that as well. But he finds himself pointing in the right direction. Spreading out a little bit now. Alice Hughes, I think, has tried to reset herself and is now on a charge to get onto the back of Trev Hummer. She brings herself within a second very quickly of the car in front. So the final 2 minutes, she's going to be trying making a charge for the lead. Whether she can do it or not, I'm not too sure. She had a slowdown warning. Seems to be running a bit of a slower exit from onto the Bentley straight, but no, looks all good. Another driver has picked up a penalty at the back. But this, they will cross the line one more time, so this will be the we might get another 2-3 laps out of the drives this evening. Trev finds his braking point. Went a little bit wide of the curve on the inside edge. Has that lost him some speed? No, does seem to be does get a good exit from Murray's. Alice Hughes currently sitting at a second behind. The gap is coming down. He does seem to be stronger in the first sector slightly. Can she do anything at the hairpin? She cannot. Not as close as last time. So who do we have? We have Ted Cooper currently trying to defend from Paul Hargreaves. And a med down at 5th will bring him down to 6th. Ross still on his own. No, Ross is under pressure from Stefan Andrea looking up the inside line, and Dan cuts him off very sharply. Teammates actually, by the looks of the by the looks of the livery there, so don't want to be battling too hard. But yeah, Andrea does want to get that position off of him. Can he do anything by the end of the lap? Where are our leaders? We have 30 seconds. So this will be the final lap of the race, as when the clock counts down to 0, they will then come across the finish line. 17 seconds left on the clock as they cross the start-finish, as they cut the beam, if you will. Trev Hummer leads Alice Hughes, but Alice is within 2 seconds, so she will be handed the race win if nothing happens. Is there people off the track? People moving slightly down of the order, but no, relatively unchanged. Trev Hummer down the Bentley Straight, finding his braking point for Brundle, down into Nielsen. Alice Hughes 0.6 of a second at that point. That's a bit of a scrappy line on the exit. But Alice Hughes doesn't need to risk anything. She just needs to stay within a certain amount of time. Ted Cooper in 3rd has eked out a bit of a time over Paul Hargreaves. But this will be the final lap as they come across the start-finish line to end race 1. Trev Hummer finishes a second. Alice Hughes has been awarded the race win for the inaugural race of the VTCC round 1 at Snetterton. First blood goes to Alice Hughes after 14 laps of fierce battling through the entire grid. She has taken the early victory in the championship. Very well done to her for that. While we wait for everyone to get round the track, Trev Hummer sits in 2nd. Very well fought. So yeah, he's certainly improved on his racecraft over the off season to finish in 2nd place. It was just that one little error causing him to pick up a 2-second time penalty. Ted Cooper, who led the race from the beginning, sits in 3rd. So as you can see, Alice Hughes takes the race win. Trev Hummer in 2nd, Ted Cooper, and then further down the order, we'll try and show you them this time, as we didn't quite have enough time to get through. Mark Holmes coming up the rear of the pack. So yes, a very hard-fought grid throughout the race. And I will be just back in a second. Don't go anywhere. We have our random grid race coming up for race 2. Welcome back once again. So we are looking at just getting into the random grid race 2. We had ever so slight issues with race 1. But now we will see. Where everyone is lined up for this random grill race. We have Brian Zimmerman on the front row, and then we have Stefan Andrea in second, Paul Hargreaves in third, Ethan Garija in fourth, Ross in fifth, Dan is sixth. Fortunately, we don't have time to go through everyone as the race is about to begin. The engine notes rise and they all get away, and Brian Zimmerman gets a good start. But he has Stefan on his tail, 3 wide going into the first corner. Who is that? That is Ross, I think, in the middle of that sandwich. He gets through very cleanly. Slight bump, I think, from the cars behind. Everyone adjusting position. There's Alice Hughes currently starting down in 12th. People running wide the first turn, but everyone gets through fairly cleanly. Find their braking point. The other car running very quickly in the who's in front of Mark. Not sure. We got another cars running wide. They're all spreading around. There's I think they're making contact after the hairpin. Coming out to the hairpin. Everyone's just getting going, but who's been involved in that? So further down we have Thorsten Jaeger was involved in that. Ross was involved in that after being very high up the grid. Heaton, who was challenging for the lead, I believe, further up the grid. But yes, lap 1 leads Brian Zimmerman, getting a very good start as he comes through. Murray's now onto the start and finish straight. Gets through incredibly cleanly. Who follows him? That is the equaliser. There's Paul Hargreaves, who started on the 3rd or 4th row. I'm not too sure exactly where he was, but he does get going. Trying to chase him down, currently 1.5 seconds behind the leader. Trev Hummer, another storming start, bringing himself up to 3rd. Car running slightly wide. Stefan Andrea gets it back on the racing circuit. We'll have to try and get it slowed down for the hairpin. Does indeed. They're running very quickly, as you can see. Adam Bent, who I think nearly made contact with someone going into the hairpin, or Montreal the first time around. Mark Holmes currently up in 6th behind him. Alice Hughes fighting well to 7th and doing on a stunning start. Followed by Ted Cooper down in 8th. Dan is in 9th, Tobias is in 10th, followed by Will Bream, who in turn is being chased down by Emmanuel. Gaps at the front remain relatively unchanged. There is a 5 or 6 car battle, I think, for... where is that finishing? That is all the way up to 9th. Dan trying to bridge the gap to Ted in 8th, sorry. Thorsten getting going, but trails, and so does Ross and Alistair Pollock. Down is 16th. We have smoke trails left behind by Heaton. We have proximity markers going off for Brian Zimmerman, Trev Hummer chasing them down now. 3-car battle for the lead, as Brian Zimmerman loses out to Paul Hargreaves for 2nd place. But Zimmerman looking at the inside. Did he dip out of the slipstream too soon? Can he get the run? It's bumper to bumper. He's just got up beside him. He has the commanding position. Can he hold it going into Brundle? He does. He gets past very well. Breeze past that. Can Trev follow him? Back end of that Renault and Trev's car sliding around. Side by side through Nelson. Very well done. Trev with an outside manoeuvre gets past Paul Hargreaves. Incredibly well, very well done from Trev to get that manoeuvre pulled off. Not where you normally expect that to be done. The car's turning and pitching and rolling on the brakes and all the rest of it, and gets it done incredibly well. Trev Hummer now on the hunt, lost out a bit of time through Murray's. Paul Hargreaves on his tail, trying to get in the slipstream. Can't quite do it. He's going to run up onto the back of Zimmerman to go through turn 1, side by side with Trev. Does lose out slightly as he has to turn in. We have there's lots of Adam Bent, Mark Holmes side by side through turn 1. Alice Hughes on the back of them as they come into Montreal as well. Alice Hughes an inside manoeuvre, very late on the brakes, muscles out the BMW and gets another position. Very, very quickly done. but the BMW is better on the straight, and Alice, I think, has had to slow down as well. I think she's had a slowdown warning, so she, after that storming manoeuvre, had to remove a warning from the stewards, and so lost a lot of speed from that. But it looks like Marcus Holmes has jinxed himself and runs incredibly wide at Nielsen, and hands that position back to Alice. After the adrenaline, I'm sure, will be pumping after that battle. Halfway around the track. At the front, we have Zimmerman back up into first place. Trev Hummer down in second. Beg pardon, I think Zimmerman may have been there before. I can't remember now. Anyway, Zimmerman is under pressure from Trev into turn one. Trev looking up the inside, can't get the manoeuvre done. Dips back behind the Renault. The Renault's white front bumper, rear bumper. Looking at the inside manoeuvre, diving under the brakes. Quite an important one. Difficult to get a good line. Trev running wide. He does get it done. Who do we have? Adam Bent actually has picked up a time penalty now of 1 second, with Alice Hughes on his tail for third place. Trev's looking at the inside, gets the manoeuvre. But as leaders run incredibly wide at Nielsen, at Brandl, sorry, completely losing the back end of the car, dives across the track in front of the other two competitors. So very, very. Did he make contact with anyone? We couldn't quite see from the camera angle, but Trev really lucked out to avoid that position. I think Paul Hargreaves may have had a bit of a glancing blow. Doesn't look like he had any damage on his car, but Zimmerman does after that excursion across the grass, carrying way too much speed into Brundle, trying to outbrake Trev, who had the inside line, and cost him severely. And we have Adam Bent nearly on his tail. So could this be in the first race win of the season for Trev Hummer? 8 minutes to go. I'm going to say it now. Can he keep it clean enough to get the result that he really wants? Everyone's bunching up a little bit now from second place onwards, all the way down to Ted in seventh, really. Arguably Mark Holmes. Second person to pick up penalties now is Stefan, who currently picks up 1 second. Backfire and the anti-lag hitting, going through the engines. We have battle at the back between Thorsten Jaeger and Alistair Pollock, with Thorsten not quite able to get the manoeuvre done. Looking back at the front, let's see what the gap. 3 and nearly 4 seconds now from Trev Hummer to Paul Hargreaves. Zimmerman down in third, holding on to that position. Looks like he's trying to get back up into second. He might be able to do it if Paul can't get away from him. All Renault chassis all the way down to 6th place is when you see the first BMW. Alice Hughes in 5th, losing a little bit of time to Adam Bent, who's muscling his way. He's got his elbows out, tried to get it done under braking, couldn't quite. They are still side by side. Zimmerman's trying to squeeze him out. Adam Bent will hopefully be in the slipstream, and Zimmerman leaves him a bit more room now he knows he's there. Not sure he knew quite how hard Adam was trying to chase for that position. A few more penalties on the board from the competitors down the order. Adam really getting his elbows out, trying to get that position off Zimmerman. Zimmerman's going to have to be careful what Adam has in mind. Otherwise that could possibly cost him some time. But what do we have? So Adam Bent, has he got the good run out of Murray's? He's in the slipstream of Zimmerman. He's on that tail. He's under the rear wing. Moves to the inside. Can he get him under braking? He's definitely going to try. Zimmerman leaves him plenty of room, not wanting to get too much into trouble, and settles for 4th. He knew Adam was coming through, and Adam had the inside line, so Zimmerman let him through. Alice Hughes trying to get up to the back, leaving it ever later on the brakes than everyone else. They come onto the Bentley straight, and Zimmerman may be under pressure from Alice, but Zimmerman has to hold on All he has to do is hold on to the back of Adam Bent, and he will gain that position. Tobias Eriksson in 8th, picking up 2 seconds. Stefan picking up 3 seconds, the highest penalty we've seen so far. Kev Straw at the back picking up 1 second. Alice Hughes running wide at Nelson, losing a lot of speed. Is she going to be under pressure from Mark? He is certainly trying. He's got a bit more speed. If he can hold on to the back of the start-finish straight, we'll see if the BMW has any more grunt to give Mark. Let's see, they wind through. The Renault massively benefiting better on the turns. But no, Alice Hughes could bring that car through Murray's and eke out the gap over the BMW. So she is safe, but loses position there. Loses time on the people in front. Ted in 7th, and then we've got quite a big gap now to Tobias Eriksson down in 8th, who is under pressure from Dan in 9th. Braking under the hairpin, Tobias runs wide. Dan gets the inside line, now the outside onto the Bentley straight, gets the manoeuvre done. Tobias Eriksson moves out of his way, giving as much space as he can, and Dan comes through into 8th place in car number 69. Daniel Collins taking 8th place now. Eriksson not quite giving up. What's that? Emmanuel's trailing smoke on the brakes as he turns the car through Brundle. Looking up at front, who is that? Kevin Straw is taken to the pit, severely damaged. That wasn't just from what happened to him earlier on. I think that has something else must have happened to him throughout the race, but he has taken to the pits and to get that repaired. Thorsten Jaeger battling 15th with a very damaged Stefan as well. 7 seconds, nearly 8 seconds now separate Trev Hummer from Adam Bent, who's up into 2nd, getting past Zimmerman. So, because I swear Paul Hargreaves was higher up in that position. Now he's dropped back without me knowing. Indeed, I don't think it was too long ago either. Alice Hughes has now got onto the back of that 5-car battle, so doesn't have to worry about Mark, who gets a little bit out of shape on the exit of Murray's. So Alice Hughes chasing down Paul Hargreaves, chasing down Zimmerman, trying to unnerve Adam Bent. Is he running wide? No, he carries just enough speed through through the last turn onto the start-finish straight. But look at this, Zimmerman has the run, he's getting held up slightly, looking to the outside strangely. Couldn't quite scrub up enough speed, looks like he's going to lose out a place to Paul Hargreaves. We've got trapped on the outside. Alice Hughes is trying to follow through as well. There's contact between Zimmerman and Hughes. No way for Zimmerman to know Hughes was there. They get away with that conflict, but Zimmerman costing him dearly from losing out a lot of time. Let's see. Our lead, Trev Hummer, has picked up a time penalty. Is it going to? No, it's only 2nd. So is Adam Bent, actually. He's picked up a penalty as well. And he has Paul Hargreaves just a 2nd behind. I don't think he's going to necessarily know. He may know he's got a 2nd. He just has to say within a 2nd. But he has Alice Hughes on his tail, who wants a higher up position. So it's a 3-car battle for 2nd. So he's going to have to put the pressure on Adam. Alice losing a little bit of speed on the sausage curb. Paul Hargreaves on the tail of Adam Bent. Drops back slightly on the start-finish straight. Not quite close enough to make a mover. He is not. 1 minute roughly remaining of race, the random grid race 2. Incredible racing from everyone throughout the field. Slightly wide line from Alice, trying to carry as much speed onto the Bentley straight. But Zimmerman running very wide. Mark Holmes under pressure from Cooper at down in 8th. Just see the gaps gaps opened up a little bit. For those positions, can Cooper get the run onto the inside of Brundle? He's certainly looking. Mark Holmes knows he's there. Mark Holmes trying to get the car very cleanly done, but loses speed on the exit of Nelson. And Ted Cooper gets through very cleanly. But Ted now up into 6th place. Brian Zimmerman running his own race now at this point in 5th. Still that very hotly contested 3-car battle. Where is our leader? He has just come across the start-finish line with 8 seconds remaining. So this is the final lap of the race, of race 2. What do we have? So lap 13 now, 14 laps of this race to play out. Adam Bent down in 2nd. Paul Hargreaves sitting in 3rd with Alice Hughes on his tail. She is trying to get the slipstream to make a maneuver on the final lap of the race. Can she get it done? Finds the braking point right on the bumper. Smoke trails from the front end as she tries to get it slowed down enough. Can she carry the speed? She has not. She thinks she's having to back off a little bit. Where is our leader? He is on the end of coming into Murray's. 8 seconds separate him and Adam Ben. Slight time penalty from our leader, but that will not affect his result. Trev Hummer will take race 2 win. Well done to him. Looking at the battle behind, Adam Bent will take 2nd, and Paul Hargreaves takes 3rd. Very well done to that. Alice Hughes down in 4th. Mark Holmes in 5th. Ted in 6th. Zimmerman running the wrong way. Oh dear, not entirely sure what happened there, but he points the wrong way as he comes across the line. But race 2 win, very well fought, and is taken by Trev Hummer. Just while we wait for the rest of the races to finish, we have confirmed there Trev Hummer takes the lead, takes race 2 win. Paul Hargreaves in 2nd, Adam Bent taking a 3rd place, Alice Hughes in 4th, Mark Holmes, Ted Cooper, Brian Zimmerman, Tobias Eriksson, Ross Smith and Daniel Collins takes 10th place. And then the rest of the grid, so you can see Emmanuel in 11th, Will Bream in 12th, Hitton in 13th, Alistair Pollock in 14th, Thorsten in 15th, and Stefan in 16th. And it looks like we lost Kevin Straw towards the end of that one, unfortunately. Can't see him on the actual finishing position. He did take a he did have a pit stop is the word I was looking for. A pit stop to repair damage for that one.
Welcome back.
Hello, hello. How was that? You enjoyed it? Well done on your race win.
Yeah,
how was that? How was that race for you? Because you started off. You started off fairly down the order, didn't you? I think.
I started about mid-pack, so I think I started about P7. Came up, a couple guys went off. I had some good fights entering turn 1. A couple guys just ran themselves wide, so I got that position. And then I think I was into like P4 by turn 2. Had some minor contact from equalizer, but I got no damage from it. And then the top 2 guys, I believe it would have been Equalizer and Byron Zimmerman, were having a good battle for a while, and then they just kind of forced each other into mistakes. So I took that position and
then just run away with it. Yeah,
just kind of ran away with it.
Once you had clear air in front of you, you were gone. You were down the road. Picked up another time penalty, but that didn't affect you this time around.
No, that's not this time.
Yeah, it seemed.
Ironically, it was at a different section of track.
Of course it was. It seemed to be Montreal on the lead lap after. Turn 1 was fine. The hairpin was okay, and then after that, just everyone seemed to sort of spread out and go wide at that thing, and that's where you say you picked up a load of time.
I'm happy with a race win, and I'll go on to the next one and hope I am fighting for a podium.
Good.
Anyway.
Well, I hope your qualifying goes well, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Good luck.
I'll see you on the other side.
And Joe.
Have a good one.
So that was Trevor Hummer taking race 2 win. I can see. I will just point out, I can see it stuttering. There's slight issues with the bit rate being produced by the stream, but we'll see. That's something that might have to be addressed. Not too sure what's causing that. I think it's more likely to be an internet issue I have than anything else. But there we are. So let's just try that. So that's fine. So yes, so that is race 2 done and dusted, which is the random grid race. Race 3 then will be another qualifying session. Interestingly, actually, the weather for the event, we did have, what did we have? Qualifying 1, race 1 and race 2 all clear weather, but now the weather has definitely moved in for race for the final race, and the qualifying will be done in the rain, and the race will actually be a wet race as well in the beginning, and then move into an overcast kind of dry race after that. So that's what we have to look forward to for that one. As qualifying is just about to get underway for our competitors. We will bring that to a stop. So qualifying for race 3 has begun, and we should join them on the circuit. So everyone currently still in their outlaps, they'll have cold tyres and things like that, and they will begin to get going. See what we have pace-wise for Quali 2. So everyone on their outlaps for the moment. Who do we have leading? Someone running a little bit wide. That's just only qualifying, that won't matter. So now the time lapse will begin. Well, Hargreaves set on his lap at the moment. Striking livery, some fantastic results from him so far. Mark Holmes. Where is he? Trevor Hummer currently down the order. So they've all spaced out fairly well, but this is going to be the first wet session that they will be used to. So qualifying It's not going to get any quicker than this. It is going to be quite wet and slippery throughout this session. Kev Straw, you can see, has joined us again. Good to see. Different style of livery to what we're normally seeing. Definitely more red involved than the striking sort of fine checker plate that we've seen before. So early pace set by Alice Hughes once again for qualifying. So whatever work she has done to get this ready, she is certainly doing a fantastic job to get this to get that pole position. Just quickly, thank you for the follow as well, David Snap, and later Potato. I did. I've only just seen them. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. 10 minutes of qualifying 1 to go. Alice Hughes taking early pole. Only 0.091 of a second behind is Paul Hargreaves. And a very good pace step by Stefan Andreas. He runs a little bit wide at turn 1. With a very good time from him. So very good in the wane. There's a few people running a little bit wide. The other counterparts of OG Racing, maybe Alistair Pollock? No, so there's actually 3 people of OG. Who's the other one going to be? Hiten Garija. I didn't see what his prefix is, so running in a BMW. Oh, sorry, Alistair running BMW. Down in. There we go. What's his? He's GAR. In the Renault, getting held up ever so slightly by, not sure who that was. They're not in track position order. But let's see. So Paul Hargreaves has a bit of work to do to try and get that pole position. Scoring the highest points, I think, for the OG Racing conglomerate. Stefan's still in 3rd, Ted in 4th. Struggling a little bit with the rain. Trev Hammer down in 5th. 7 seconds off the fastest time so far. So good in the race, but qualifying potentially needs a little bit of work. Still light rain hammering down on Snetterton this evening. Keeper running wide at turn 1, returns to the pits. Stefan's struggling with the gearing there, I think, on his car. Trev Hummer running behind his teammate. Held up a little bit. I think unless it's Team Audson, they're hoping to get a little bit of a slipstream. Trev running a bit wide. Dan in 6th place for the moment. Good lap from him. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him though to contend with. Tobias Eriksson running for the same team as Trev, currently sitting in 7th. Adam Bent, we've seen good performance from him in the wet weather before. But struggling a little bit in Snetterton this evening. Will Breen behind him, running very wide, striking the sausage curve there, as you can see him running off the road at Nelson. Hopefully he can recover fairly soon. As indeed he does. James George coming back out of the pits for another lap. That's Pollock down in 12th for the moment. So interestingly, Paul Hargreaves in the pits, possibly repairing damage to his car. Heaton running on the inside, struggling for track position against who's in front of him? Car number 32. That was Stefan Andreou. Again, people struggling in the wet with the braking point into Montreal, so that could feed into the race as well. LSU still with a very early high pace, setting a very good time for qualifying. Not able to improve upon just yet, but she may have done enough to be at the sharp end of the grid. Ted holding on to that, bring himself further up the order on the second row. Trev Palmer's going to want to try and improve on his time to be in with a better fight, but he has been good at the start of the race so far, getting through traffic. As we see Stefan running a bit wide under brakes, so does... didn't see who that was as well. People, again, running wide at... Stefan calling it quits. Trev coming to the side of the circuit as well. I think he'll take to the pits as well. Where is Mr. Thorsten Jäger? Just check on him. He's currently sat in 13th position in the pits as well. Does Alice improve upon her time? As yet she does not, but she hasn't been chased down for that pole position as of yet. We'll just check on one of the other BMWs in the race as well, which we'll try and find, unless we're missing him. I don't think we were. 16 competitors. I think no, after running through the order, I'm sorry to say we are actually missing Mark Holmes has dropped out of race, dropped out to qualifying. Hopefully he may join us for the race. At the moment he is missing from that. A few people still in the pits. Trevor Palmer looks like he's going to have to come up soon if he's going to try and get another attempt at the fastest lap. Beg pardon, as we're looking through. So just looking back at the order for the first time actually on race 1. Paul Hargreaves has actually managed to improve upon his time in the wet and has taken pole position with 2.5 minutes remaining of the qualifying for race 3 to go. Alice Hughes currently sitting 0.041 behind in the standings, still on the front row. As we've seen in race 1, she did struggle to get up the line a little bit. So if Paul can get a good enough start, he could run away with that order. Trev Hummer, winner from race 2, will start a little way down the order. So in traffic a little bit, so that could give Paul the opportunity if he can keep out of trouble in the first couple of corners. But it's never that predictable, is it? Something could drastically change at the beginning of race 3. For the entirety of the order. Dan Collins deciding against going in the pits. No, does indeed decide to go in the pits and has Kestrel follow him in as well. 1 minute of qualifying remaining. So there's not going to be that many more chances for our competitors. Alice Hughes will have traffic in front of her. No, that they get out the way very sharply, and that I suspect was Tobias, as he was the counterpart to Trev, who is currently still in the pits. Nipper, you left. Beg your pardon, I didn't. Glenn, apologies. Hope everything went well, and hope it wasn't too major an issue as to why you dropped out, but hope you have a good evening. Welcome to the stream. So that's 2 competitors that we've dropped out, Mark Holmes and Glenn Price. But with 5 minutes remaining, this will be Alice Hughes' last lap to attempt to try and steal the pole position from this man here. Has he done enough? They are both running in order as they come through the ram into Murray's. They find their braking point. Looks like Alice running a little bit wide. Can't see what time she's doing until she comes across the line. Has she done enough? Looks like Paul Hargreaves has opted out of going into the pits, just diving out the way. But she has not. So your pole sitter there, currently on the grass at the moment. Not sure why that is, but is Paul Hargreaves, who will take the sharp end of the race for race 3. So the countdown's just continuing for everyone. Just wait for them all to finish their laps. It looks like everyone is going to be roughly where they finished. I don't think there's anyone on a fast lap as of yet. Who was that running? Adam Bent pointing the wrong way at the circuit. Just getting the car turned around. And there we are. That is the end of the qualifying for race 3. As you can see, it confirmed there. Paul Hargreaves takes pole position. Alice Hughes will take second. And then further down the order as we are thrust straight into race 3. Clearly, unfortunately, a slight glitch in the matrix has meant that we can't actually... The camera's not behaving as it should. Hang on, bear with me. I'm just gonna... Is that gonna... Okay, for some reason the onboard, but the trackside, decided to break. So we're going to do this for a second, as we are on the grid with... we're actually on the grid with the competitors now, so as you can see, Paul Hargreaves... where is it? That's the one we want. There we are. Paul Hargreaves on pole position with Alice Hughes in second. Ted Cooper on row 2 next to Stefan. Trev Hummer and Dan on row 3. Kev Straw and Tobias on row 4. Rosamund and Edda Bent. Ross King rather, Edda Bent on row 5. Will Bream and Alistair Pollock on row 6. Thorsten Jaeger and Byron Zimmerman on row 7. And then Mao Chow and Ethan Garija. Again, apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong, on row 8. We'll need to learn the pronunciations at some point. The trackside camera is deciding to be a little bit off. So hopefully when the race begins that will reset itself. Otherwise we may be in chase mode or drone mode for the entirety of the race. So apologies for that. We'll see how this goes. It should all reset itself. But we do want to be looking at this mode, let's have a look. Does it want to get going? Hopefully it should reset. Hopefully we're not looking at the same car the entire time. It does reset. There we are. Cameraman 2 takes up his mantle. And let's see. Ted has stormed through the lead. Stormed through the field and takes the lead. As they all find a breaking point. Alice Hughes had a shunt. Trev Hummer's taken to the inside. Who was that ended up in the middle? They're still pinballing all on the exit. There's a car turned around. Tobias Eriksson was tagged on his rear, on the rear of his car. Ended up in the middle of the in the order 3 wide going down Bentley straight. We have Stefan, Trev Hummer and Alice Hughes back up into 3rd place. Who is we have Paul Hargreaves, that's Trev Hummer just finding the brakes, all filing into line, and Nilsson finding the space that they need to, but Ted has taken the lead with Paul Hargreaves behind him. Trev Hummer running wide. Who's that behind him? We have Kev Straw and Daniel Collins following on, so I think hopefully he can defend from them. You won't lose out too much time. But so very, very eventful first lap. Cars are running wide again further down the order. The camera's deciding to go a little bit mad with who we're looking at. We will eventually look at the right person. There we are. Ted Cooper currently still in the lead. It's not Project Cars without a few bugs, is it? We will persist. Alice Hughes up into 3rd. Defending hard from Stefan and Trev, struggling the wet. Everyone's struggling for grip, but it will get drier throughout. So it'd be interesting to see if anyone opts for making a tyre change, or whether, depending on when it gets dry, as to whether people persist with what they're doing. 0.4 of a second separate the first 2 competitors. We find a breaking point. Alice Hughes has run wide. Alice Hughes has run incredibly wide into Brundle. They're all struggling for grip massively. There's people struggling everywhere on the grass. Adam Bent has just managed to recover onto the grass. Where did Hughes end up? She got back onto the track in 4th place. Trev Hummer, who was in 5th, is now up into 3rd. Daniel Collins still behind Kevin Straw, who's benefited and brought himself up to 5th. Daniel Collins looking for an outside manoeuvre on Kev at Murray's, doesn't get it done. We'll have to be defending. We've gone for a slightly wonky camera angle again. My God, these cameramen need to be fired. Ted Cooper now sits in 1st still. Paul Hargreaves in 2nd. Trev Hummer now up into 3rd, running a little bit wide. He's lost a lot of speed. Alice Hughes is going to be on his tail at the hairpin. Can she get a manoeuvre done under braking? She dives up the inside. Not quite close enough. She'll be looking to get the run on to Bentley Straight. Kev Straw cutting the curve slightly. He'll have to be careful he doesn't get a warning for that. Down the Bentley Straight, the gap's opened up again. Kevin Straw defending from Daniel Collins. He's in the slipstream. Can he get a manoeuvre done at the end before Brundle? He's looking. He tries to get onto the brakes. He moves to the inside. He's coming off the inside from Kev. Can't get the manoeuvre done. Backs out of that. Kevin Straw remains in 5th. Alice Hughes up into 3rd. Tries to reset herself for an attack on Trev Hummer's 3rd position. Paul Hargreaves in 2nd. Ted running a bit wide through Karam. Both running over the sausage curb. They get onto the start-finish straight again. Don't even know what camera angle this is now, Jesus. We will eventually get back to the action. What drunk camera? What race director is? There we go. Drunk cameraman. Ted Cooper still in first, but he has Paul Hargreaves on his tail. Paul Hargreaves looking for the inside manoeuvre, finds himself under braking. Doesn't quite force the door open from Ted. Alice Hughes in that kerfuffle has ended up all the way down into 6th place. So Kevin Strauss, I'm not completely missed what happened there, unfortunately. But Alice Hughes has now down into 6th place. So Daniel Collins and Kev Straw benefiting. Alice Hughes looking up the inside. They both find their braking marker. So Alice is going to be trying to recover as many positions as she can. Stefan, who was a lot higher up the order than that, who is that? Ross King, sorry, losing out position to Alistair Pollock up into 9th. It's a great position to see him in. Will Bream, who is higher up the order as well, down in 11th. So they've all shuffled around quite a lot now, actually, in race 3. And Emmanuel trailing the field in the Opel. Down the start-finish straight to go. Not that we could see them, but Ted Cooper currently holding on to that first place very well. Saw off the challenge from Paul Hargreaves. And Trev Hummer, I think, is actually gaining on them to a certain extent. So is the entire pack to a little bit as well. That was a very late dive from who is that? Daniel Collins. There's contact between him and Alistair Pollock. It was indeed. Sort of dragged each other around the exit of Montreal. So Alistair holding on to that 9th. Stefan holding on to the 7th. And Adam Bent down in 8th at the moment. Struggling on with the lack of grip. Alistair Pollock running incredibly wide, runs on the inside of the grass of Brundle. Where does he rejoin? He rejoins safely in front of Will Bream, down in 10th. But yeah, Alistair just losing his braking point completely. Back at the front of the grid. Again, looking at Manuel for some unknown reason. But there we are, Ted Cooper in first place, still eking out the gap over Paul Hargreaves. Trev Hummer looked like was gaining on Paul, but he may pick up a time penalty for that outside manoeuvre, running along the outside of the curb. But as we say that, Kev Straws, the first person to pick up a time penalty this evening of a second. He has. So he's been passed by Daniel Collins. And Alice Hughes is in the slipstream, moves to the inside. Can she get the manoeuvre done? Running the engine ragged in 5th, 6th gear that she's in. And gets the manoeuvre done before Brundle incredibly cleanly. So you can see that there's no spray actually from the cars at the exit of Nelson, so the track is beginning to dry. The rain has stopped with 7 minutes remaining, and the track is going to begin to dry out. So whether that's going to cook the wet weather tyres that they will have on for the beginning of the race, because you wouldn't have been able to keep up the pace with dry tyres with slicks. But let's see. Apologies in advance as well, because that slight glitch is going to make revealing the winner slightly less and slightly anticlimactic. There we are. We have. Who do we have? We have the first 3 runners still remaining the same. Daniel Collins in a good position. As you say, that runs wide on the exit of Montreal. Gets going again. Does that give an opportunity for Alice Hughes to close down? Not too sure. It's a very good position to see him in at the moment. It's the highest I think we've seen him in the race. Finds his braking point, runs through the racing line of Nelson. Slightly slower exit. Alice having to defend herself from Kevin Straw. 3-car battle for 4th. 3-car battle for 1st as well, incidentally. You can hear the limiter bashing from everyone, but Alice Hughes running very wide. She's outrun herself, outbraked herself at Murray's. Does get going again, but was that... Did she cook the tyres at that point? Again, the cameras will correct themselves again. Apologies for that glitch, but there we are. And she's lost a massive amount of time. And you can see Alice Hughes just all the way back down into 6th place, and 2 seconds off of Kevin Straw, who hits the sausage curb, sends the car slightly skywards. Battle 4 lead with 5 minutes remaining in race 3 sits at Trev Hummer in 3rd. Chasing down Paul Hargreaves. He looks at the inside. His elbows out, budges. Paul Hargreaves out the way. Very, very harsh manoeuvre, but gets it done. Potentially that could be one that the stewards look at. Not too sure, but that I'd see that as a racing manoeuvre. And Trev Hummer certainly had his elbows out on that manoeuvre. Got him done under braking going into Brundle. Hasn't had to give that position back, but now really wants to try and get some clear air. But no, I think Trev Hummer does actually let... Where's the mouse? There we go. He has actually let Paul Hargreaves through. So whether it was a warning that he had to let the car through or not. You see he runs wide at turn 1 as well. So I think that the wet weather tyres are certainly hotting up quite a bit. So they're struggling for grip now for different reasons at the end of race 3. No one coming in to get hit to get tyres yet. And I don't think you will see it for 4 minutes remaining in the race. They'll just lose all the track position from where they are. So they do have to be extremely careful with the overheating. But as we see, Trev Hummer making a manoeuvre again. It gets it cleanly done this time. He won't have to give the track position back after that. Yeah, Paul Hargreaves couldn't really do anything against that. Trev Hummer a lot cleaner this time around. Let's see if he can keep it on the road into turn 1 again. You can hear the engine straining as their very high revving engines just push to the limit. But yeah, Dan Hargreaves in now down into 3rd. As he now has to look at the back of Trev Hummer's car. Can Trev Hummer keep it on the road into turn 1? Looks like he can. Tied to line from Paul Hargreaves as they find their braking point. Can he get an inside manoeuvre done? He doesn't. He has to settle. No, he does. Is he muscling the contact on the back of Trev Hummer's car? He's certainly trying to force the door open with that one. They are both elbows out on this occasion. And Trev Hummer pushed offline, had to cut the corner. Could we see Trev get a time penalty for that? Side by side down the Bentley Straight. Couple of laps remaining. Paul Hargreaves running wide again at Nelson. Couldn't get it slowed down under braking and completely brought himself off the road and handed that position back to Trev Hummer. That's going to neutralise that battle completely, as he's not going to get another opportunity to battle him again. That has let Ted Cooper really run away with that position. That is still the wrong car, strangely. No, that's the right car, sorry. It's just a green door mirror. Okay. Ted Cooper on lap 11 still leads 2 and a bit seconds ahead of Trev Hummer. So that battle between Trev and Paul has allowed him to really open up that gap as much as he can. You can see Trev trying to cool the tyres, I think, in any water he can. Daniel Collins down in 4th place. Alex Hughes has got past Kevin Straw and suddenly sits in 5th. Kevin Straw with the only second with a 1 second time penalty. In 6th, Bryce Ericsson. There's a cars bumping over the sausage curves on the inside. Could there be a shuffle position between these 4 cars here? Not quite. Who's leading that group? Adam Bent leads. Ross King, Stefan Andrea, and Will Bream. Will Bream's got a little bit of a run. Can he get it done? Not quite. But we have a car that's both running on the grass, interestingly. They both struggle to get it slowed down under braking. Ross, Will Bream and Stefan. They both rejoin in the same position they did before. So I don't think either will lose out at all. But yeah, both struggling. Will Bream possibly following Stefan's line. They both find the breaking point as they should. Will Bream got a slightly tighter line. Can he get the drive away from Murray's? He's going to be in the slipstream of Stefan. He moves to the inside. He's covered off. He's halfway up the side. Just backs out of that one with avoiding contact and carries on. Looks like he'll try and get a move done at Montreal, but not quite. Can he get it done the exit? The timer has reached 0 on the clock, so this is the last lap of the race. And Ted Cooper, as we can see, currently coming around Karam and into Murray's, currently sits 2 seconds ahead of Trev Hummer. So if he can get around this corner incredibly cleanly, he does indeed. And this will mean we may have to go on board for this one. We do indeed. Yeah. Ted Cooper will take race 3 win. Well done to him. Trev Hummer finishing second and Paul Hargreaves finishing in 3rd place on the podium. Well done to him for that. Alice Hughes made it up into 4th place, interestingly. So on the last lap, getting ahead of Daniel Collins. And you can see the results confirmed there. Ted Cooper Motorsport taking 1st place there. Trevor Farmer taking 2nd. Paul Hargreaves in 3rd. Alice Hughes in 4th. Daniel Collins in 5th. Alistair Pollock in 6th. Kev Straw in 7th. Adam Bent in 8th. Ross King in 9th, Will Bream in 10th, Stefan Andrea in 11th, Tobias Ericsson in 12th, Thorsten Jaeger in 13th, Ethan Garija in 14th there, Manuel Chow in 15th, and Brian Zimmerman in 16th. A few people not finishing. I think, who did we have? Yeah. I don't guess it says that. Emmanuel and Brian Zimmerman unfortunately retiring the race. At the end, 1 second penalty going to Kev Straw, which didn't affect his position largely in the end. And yeah, that is your race 3 results for Snetterton 200, round 1 of the VTCC. So, my voice hurts after that. That was a very action-packed race for everyone throughout the grid. I mean, you couldn't look away from any part of it without seeing cars battling the entire time through the grid. So we will just get our race winner.
Excellent, I mean.
It was indeed. There we are. So we have, who do we have? We have Paul Hargreaves and we have Trev Hummer. Yes, so how was that? How was that, Paul?
So, yeah, Paul Hargreaves is equaliser. How are you doing, guys?
We're all doing very well. I'm kind of getting used to the there we go. I am kind of getting used to who is who to the usernames. Most people have their names in place, but yeah. So we are.
Yeah, I left it last minute. I'll make sure I'll do that next race.
Right, that's all right. So yeah, how was that race for you in the wet conditions? The first time we've seen the wet conditions this evening.
Hard.
Do you want to go first, Chad?
Yeah, sure. So that was definitely hard. I came from P5 up to P2. That was a very hard race, especially with the equalizer. Man, you fended me off like crazy, and it was very hard to get past you. And I have great kudos to that. There was some contact there, but nothing you shouldn't expect from a wet race. And overall, it was all fun.
Yeah, well, I agree 100%. Like I said, I mean, I think I started off first or second. I lost a couple of places, obviously better drivers. But yeah, I decided to defend other than lose places.
Cool.
But overall, clean race, excellent racing. If it weren't for you guys with your awareness, I don't think it'd be as tight as it was.
No, it was very tight throughout the entire grid. You anywhere you looked, there were people battling through all three races as well. Not just the wet race, but yeah, that's is it a good track for you to race on? Is it one of your favorites, or did you have to learn it? How did it feel?
I had to learn a lot. Yeah,
me too.
Heavily.
Yeah, I had to learn it quite hard, and I didn't get a chance to race in the wet either. So that was the first time I was on that track in the wet.
Good. Well, you both did incredibly well, and yes, picking up some good points for the first round of the season. Yes, any thoughts for the next round in China?
Well, I'm going to have to practice that one. I've not raced it much, if at all.
I don't think it's going to be a well-known one to the UK competitors, is it? But
no, it's not.
Or to you, Trav, as well in America. So
No.
yeah.
It should be quite fun. I've done a little testing around it. It's definitely going to be, again, one of those tight tracks.
Is it a track where you're able to pass? Do you know?
You have to pick it. It's mostly under braking, and you have to be very committed. But I believe the top 5 of this class should be able to do it pretty well. So
excellent.
Good.
So looking forward to some more tight races.
It should be good. It should be good, definitely. So
she'll be good this season. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, good. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen. And yeah, I'll speak to you next week.
Right. Excellent then, boys. We'll see you next week. Thanks for the race. Thanks for the chat.
Yeah.
All right. It's been emotional. I'll catch you soon.
Certainly yes.
Bye now. Ta-ra, lads. Ta-ra.
Cool. Fantastic. Well, there you go. So that's that done and dusted. I think that went very quickly. That went incredibly quickly. Actually, it flew by. So we'll have a quick look at the calendar. So we have next week is Zhouhane in China. Should be good circuit on the 4th, and then a break until Imola after that. Starting at 7:45 once again, 3 15-minute races, 2 qualifying sessions, and 1 random group race for race 2. We will also run through what the team championship standings and the driver championship standings are as well. So we'll see how the championship's hotting up. We were missing a couple of people, so hopefully we'll see them back next week as well. There may be some updates during the week, but yes, you can follow the series on. Actually, I'll go back to that. Probably should have stayed there. You can follow the series. Actually, it's not on that one either. Bear with me. We will get there. I need the information that I need, which is in that one. Professional stream, everyone. Professional stream. There we are. So you can follow the race results on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/VRCC Hub. There is also an Instagram page, which is VRCC Official. If you're watching this on Twitch, I stream here throughout the week. The recording will be available on Twitch for a short amount of time, and then will be put on my YouTube channel after that for everyone to watch after that. And yeah, that I think pretty much sums up everything this evening. So that will be that. Thank you all very, very much for joining. Just checking, Marky, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Just saw you at the end. I hope you're good. And yeah, we shall all see you next week. Have a good one.